All right, guys, welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. As you can see behind me, I got a sweet little 1970 Chevrolet K10. You know, I don't really specialize in four-wheel drive trucks. You know, if you know me, I've sold C10s all over the world. But usually, you know, whether it be some odd camper truck or, you know, this gorgeous C10, they're all slammed down on big wheels. I'm not much of a four-wheel drive guy. You know, I sold a four-wheel drive van, but other than that, I'm not big in the off-road stuff. But being in the collector car hobby, you got to be able to roll with the trends. And in the last few years, like we've been out in Vegas and at SEMA, four-wheel drive truck market is huge, especially in the late model stuff. You know, every damn guy in the world's got, you know, a 3/4 ton lifted Dodge or Ford or Chevrolet truck. That's bleeding over into the collector car market. Well, the only problem is you got to think about it. Back in the day, people actually drove these trucks. They used these trucks. And guys with four-wheel drive trucks really used them. I mean, you got to think about it. These trucks went off-road. You know, they went places that trucks probably shouldn't go. And, you know, so they got wear and tear that normal two-wheel drive trucks usually didn't get. Another thing you got to think about is, you know, these trucks, you know, went through, you know, mud and all the water and snow and all that stuff. So they're prone to rust more than your normal two-wheel drive C10s, especially your Southern trucks that, as a rule, age pretty well. But, you know, the four-wheel drives were never that popular, so it wasn't never really that big of an issue. Well, now it's kind of shifted, and everybody loves the vintage four-wheel drive stuff. When we were in Vegas this past November, literally the Blazers and the Broncos and all your vintage four-wheel drive stuff, hell, International Scouts, they stole the show. I mean, that was everything. You know, so that got me thinking, hey, man, I need to pick me up a nice four-wheel drive. And apparently, you know, I'm not the first one to think this because the market has gone insane on these trucks right now. You know, I had to pay through the nose to get this thing, but I got one of the best examples around. It's a 1970 K10 four-wheel drive, frame off restored, red and white two-tone, great colors, you know, of course, you know, CST truck, you know, it's got all the, you know, all the nice interior, factory tack. This one's been hot rodded a little bit. It's got a late model center bolt head, small block Chevrolet, overdrive transmission. It's really a nice truck all the way around. Gonna be a great truck for somebody. And, you know, we've had a lot of fun riding around in it. And, you know, they've come so far with the four-wheel drive stuff. And, I mean, this truck hits the road like a dream, really, and it drives remarkably well. And it's four-wheel drive. I mean, I would never use it off-road, but you could if you wanted to. You know, it's kind of a new thing for me changing with this. But, you know, it's kind of new, but it's not new. I mean, you got to think about it. When I first started selling collector cars, I was selling street rods. Well, now street rods are nothing. And I moved into muscle cars. And for years, the muscle cars were red hot. And then the muscle cars moved into the trucks. And, you know, the trucks have been red hot for the last 5 or 6 years. And now the trucks are moving into the four-wheel drives are getting hot. And you're starting to see a transition. And it's always cool because you don't know what's going to be hot next. And even in the muscle cars, we had a lot of transitions. You know, we went from numbers matching everything right with a nice set of wheels and tires to full-blown LS resto mods. We're bringing more money than numbers matching cars. And then in the middle of the muscle car hype, you had, you know, just little jumps in Corvettes and Camaros, which I've never really considered a Corvette or a Camaro either one a muscle car. A Corvette's a sports car and a Camaro's a pony car. That's just one of my little quirks. But then you had those burst up in the middle of all these things with the muscle cars. You know, even then you had these little hot little commodity cars pop up. In between the Corvettes and the Camaros, you had, you know, your little 442 kick. You couldn't touch a Cutlass for a couple of years. Then the GS Buicks got hot. It was your corporation stuff, your Pontiac stuff got hot. You know, and those cars always kind of had their little niche mark. They were getting a lot of attention, so people were buying these cars. You know, like Judges and, you know, your true GTO cars. They were doing great. And then they kind of cooled back down a little bit. And then, of course, the Resto Mod stuff rode that on out. And, you know, of course, Resto Mods are still red hot. Then we got into trucks, and trucks have been crazy. I mean, went to the point where, you know, you could buy first, second gen C10. That truck that you could buy for 10 grand is now $20,000. This truck, you know, 15 years ago would have been a $12,000 truck, and now it's a $40,000 truck because of the market. And you can't find another one. These clean examples of four-wheel drive, I mean, rust-free, restored trucks, they're bringing all the money. They're ringing the bell. If you watch Barrett Jackson or Mecum, you pull a four-wheel drive on there, it pulls a crowd around it because they're just not out there. You're even seeing it in the FJ Cruisers. You're even starting to see it in the Classic Rovers and things like that too. So it's kind of neat to see the market changing, and I'm really curious to see where it goes. I'm kind of curious to see where this old K10 ends up. There's no telling with your old buddy Rabbit. You know what? We're sitting here in this dusty warehouse right now. We're doing all this sheetrock. This thing's covered in dust. We took this thing on a little test drive, riding around, got some cool driving scenes, got this thing out in the country, the ultimate background for a four-wheel drive truck. You never know, it might even be a pretty girl in there. Hell, you know me, you know there's gonna be a pretty girl involved. Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars. I mean, hell, it's all you need. You got your step. Put you a nice single wide right here. I already got my jacked up paw truck. I got this country living down. Nah, f that. I don't have good signal. We're going back to the city. Oh, God. Now I know why I like lowriders. It, let's do it. Like chicken in a bucket. You know that? You see this shit right here, boys? Right here, look. Bah! Like it right there. Do a flying drop kick. I kick you right in the damn head. This right here, Kung Fu Panda. No, this Chuck Norris shit. Tell you what, you're the classiest thing I ever seen in this neck of the woods. And now you're having guys that are restoring these K10 trucks that were ignored for years. And really nice trucks are bringing What are you doing, Kobe?
That's a small one.
That is small.
Story of my life. Steve Spielberg.
Way to go, Steven.
I wonder if Tom Cruise has this problem. Hell, Tom Cruise couldn't get his little short ass up here. He's like 4'11". Take 37. See, that's the secret. Everybody thinks it's years of martial arts training. No, it's stretchy jeans. Bow! Like that. That's all you gotta do. Damn.
I bet he's hurt.
My ass just hurt. So, girl, what you think about four-wheel drives?
Not enough to like you.
Think you can piece that together? Perfect. Where's the key? I'm like one of them real live country boys in this thing.
Dream on. Like what you see, like and subscribe.